You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this.
Hello everyone and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 73. I'm Roshan, aka Rollo, joined today by Dan the Halo Man, Daniel Prindle. How are you doing today, Daniel?
Just dandy. I am just ready to go, full of life, Roro. I didn't just spend 2 days shoveling snow, and my dog is clearly ready too with this squeaking toy.
Very excited. Very excited. Moving into the intro, big thank you to everyone watching and listening live. We record every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and on Twitch. So just search up Podcast PXN on both those platforms, and you will find us. The topic today is E3 2021 and how it may look this year, with ESA deciding to go forward with it. Before we get into the topic of the show, we always start the podcast with the PXN News of the Week. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is a kind of an update to a story that released earlier this week that got a lot of fans excited. An unannounced Halo game is seemingly in development. Nope. No, it's not, unfortunately. Well, not a new one. There's a new one in development, but not another one. Not one added on to that. So basically, this comes from IGN. A job posting was posted on... producer job posting was posted, which has been advertised on Microsoft Careers website since February 6th, reveals that Halo series developer 343 Industries is working on a new entry in the Halo franchise. But the community director, or community manager, John Junishek, yes, thank you. Was asked on Twitter about the job ad in question, and he confirmed that the producer role is in fact for Halo Infinite. He says, "I did some digging and was able to confirm that this is a role for Halo Infinite." So, Daniel,
yes,
when this was first announced, were you excited? Did you think it was for something else, or were you like, "Oh, this is probably for Halo Infinite"? What did you think when this was first announced?
Yeah, when this first started coming out, I for a split second, I kind of did get excited, like maybe some Halo Wars 3 or maybe some other side project. But the thing is I believe it was last summer, they had something very similar happen where they had a job posting like this that said like a next-gen Halo game or whatever, and people instantly thought it was a new game, and they confirmed back then it was just Halo Infinite. That was all the job was. So when I kind of thought about that through before John even stepped in, I was like, okay, this is probably just for Halo Infinite, and people are just, taking this the wrong way yet again. But I was still, a little bit optimistic. Maybe it'll be true. And it did take a little bit before John jumped in to say, oh, no, this isn't the case. It is what it is. It's not surprising for Halo Wars 3 to not necessarily be in development because Halo Wars 2 didn't really sell that well. Halo Wars 1 didn't really sell that well. They're both really good games, and I definitely recommend them if anyone loves RTSs that listens to this. And Roro, if you love RTSs, I definitely recommend them. But I don't know if we'll ever get a Halo Wars 3, unfortunately, but I would love to see more games from Halo and kind of branch out into other spaces as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But to add on to this Halo story, which I don't have in here, but I feel like you'll be able to easily speak upon it, even though it's not in here. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a news announcement about Halo coming to other platforms besides Xbox and... Mm-hmm. Where do you think that is? Do you think it's like just Epic Game Store? Or where do you think Halo might also end up besides Xbox?
Yeah, so they were specifically talking about Master Chief Collection, and in their most recent blog post for the next update for Master Chief Collection, they teased that you would be able to play in a new place or something like that, something to that effect. And a lot of people took it as being like a whole new platform, which it could be. To me, the only thing that could mean is like Epic Game Store, for instance. Like that would be the only logical thing that I could think of that it would go to. Yes, a Switch version that many people are talking about would be super cool, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to they're not going to put Halo on any other platform because that's Xbox. Halo is Xbox, so that's going to be the one game that's going to be off limits from something like that happening. And more, I think more accurately, what they were kind of teasing there, since it was a blog post for the new update for MCC, I think they were actually teasing the custom game browser, which they've been talking about for a long time, and they actually have one in Halo 5, but they don't have it in MCC yet. And essentially what it does is it allows you to search for custom games that the community have created that are like actively being played. So it's essentially matchmaking except for custom games. So you can find like cooler games. So that's kind of what people are thinking they're alluding to when they're saying play a new thing in a new place or whatever. That's kind of what they're talking about. But I mean, we won't know for sure until they kind of lift the lid on this. I think they're supposed to have insider testing here in the next couple weeks, so we will probably find out about it then whenever that comes out. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as I saw some of the news stories out there saying it was going to be a huge thing. It's like, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
as you said, we shall see after all this this testing happens. It being on the Switch would be insane, but I think you're right. It's probably a little bit more low key than anything like that. But moving on to the next story, WB Games patents the Nemesis system. So this has come out on Saturday. Reading from Kotaku, after years of trying, WB Games has successfully patented Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system. After trying multiple times since 2015, WB Games has successfully secured a patent on the Nemesis system featured in Shadow of Mordor and its sequel, Shadow of War. The patent goes into effect later this month. The Nemesis system first appeared in 2014's open world Stabathon Shadow of Mordor and would be expanded on greatly in 2017 sequel Shadow of War. The Nemesis system uses randomly generated orcs to populate the world. Players then attack the orcs, sometimes killing them, taking control of them, or even losing to them. As these events happen, the orcs will react, become more powerful, gain new abilities, and directly referencing past experiences with the player. It's a cool system, and soon only one publisher, WB Games, will have the ability to use it. So this came out, like I said, on Saturday. A lot of people were upset about it. I did see some people saying, like, well, it's their thing, so why not do that? It's their creation.
Yeah.
So I did see both sides of the argument happening on Twitter and wherever there was other discourse. But Daniel, where do you fall on what side of this do you fall on after hearing that Shadow Mordor has patented the Nemesis system?
Yeah, I guess my answer would be different. My answer would be different after Shadow of Mordor than now, because after Shadow of Mordor, like, everybody was so excited about it and like, man, this would be super cool in this and super cool in this and all of this, like, just the possibilities that system could have done for other franchises, people were so excited about. But how many, like, it's been so many years now since Shadow of Mordor, and I feel like we haven't even seen this done in any other franchise still. Like, it's still something that only exists in the Shadow of Mordor and War games, which is very interesting to me because I think it is very cool how they kind of do that technology. And I do wish more people would use it, and obviously now they're going to be hampered by the ability to do that, but at the same time, like I said, nobody has used it up to this point, so I feel like it's not really necessarily going to have a huge effect on everybody else, I guess. I don't know. I can definitely see people's both perspectives, just because, you know, it is such a cool thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on the side that it
kinda... Oh gosh, Roro, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you, but I just realized I have Sean's name up on the video instead of yours because last week he was on. Whoops.
That's okay.
I will fix that right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say that I'm on the side of why do this. I think it's kind of not a cool move to hinder the creativity of other developers, because I feel like the video game space and the industry in itself always takes so many ideas from each other, obviously not stealing it outright, but taking an idea and kind of improving upon it. And I've seen a lot of people saying this, and I think I share that sentiment, is the hypocrisy of this, because I feel like Shadow of Mordor takes a lot of ideas from other games as well. And like, can you imagine if those ideas were patented, what you would just have the Nemesis system and no game? Like that wouldn't be obviously fun to play. So that's where I stand on it. Again, I also see the other side of the argument. It is their creation, but I feel like it's just such a bad move and a slippery slope if other places decide to do stuff like this. But I feel like the industry is so collaborative that doing something like this doesn't look good at all.
And if you remember, like there were rumors for a while that they stole source code from Assassin's Creed, and that they had source code from those games in their games. So that like even further makes your point of like, hey, you guys are already kind of borrowing some stuff here. Why don't you? I agree with you.
Not good. But apparently you can still use a Nemesis system. You just have to strike a deal with them or face legal action or something. But so it's not completely off the table, but obviously it's going to cost you if you want to use the Nemesis system in your game. But moving on to the next story. Epic Games' new MetaHuman creator helps devs create characters. This is coming from IGN. Matt TM Kim writes, Epic Games has announced its newest tool to help game developers and creators realize their visions called MetaHuman Creator, a browser-based app that lets developers create 3D characters and models far more quickly and easily than previously possible. You can check out the video below. No, you can't. I just read that. You can definitely go check it out yourself, but right now you can't check it out. Obviously, I'm reading it. But anyways, the Mestilivok, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but he works for IGN. He is one of the leaders on the project. He says essentially the product that we're launching now is replacing hundreds of man days that we typically need to invest into building a single asset into a tool where people can do it themselves and literally within minutes get results that we would otherwise work for months to achieve. So basically this is going to cut down a lot of time for developers, and it can be used in TV and movies as well. It's not just limited to games. But this video came out earlier today of a very uncanny valley characters. The technology is definitely impressive, no doubt there. Like it looks insane. But there's definitely a level of creepiness that I felt when watching the video. But it is insane. Like there's a lot of pictures and of them going super close in on the face, and you can see like the pores of the lady's skin. You see the strands of hair. There's an older gentleman with the wrinkles and the skin sagging. It's really impressive, and the fact that they could do all of this in such a short amount of time is obviously going to cut back development time, but also just so cool that it'll be accessible to everyday people as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think this looks absolutely phenomenal. Like the detail, it just looks so freaking real. It's creepy, like you said. But I do have one concern about this, and it's awesome that it's super easy to do this for developers, and like it will help them improve their character models and such. But I do have one concern, and that is if a lot of developers are utilizing this tool, is it going to make all of the characters look too samey? Because then you have 20 different games that use all of the same character models, and obviously they have a lot of options to tweak them, one way or the other, but it's still coming out of the same thing, if that makes sense. And I feel like you get a certain level of you get a certain touch, so to speak, when an artist goes in and actually touches it themselves and creates that from scratch, whereas this, you're kind of putting this piece here, this piece here, this piece here, etc. And that's my only concern, is that it will look samey across games that use the same tool. Obviously, that's kind of a minor thing, and if they have a ton of customization for it, maybe it won't be a problem. And obviously, maybe it won't be a problem as well as you still have games that have completely different art styles that wouldn't necessarily fit what this is doing. So it's not like every game's going to be hyper realistic that would utilize this anyways. So
Yeah. I definitely get that concern as well. I don't want everybody using this. I would whenever I see stuff like this, I think it's awesome and exciting, but there's just something about it that kind of creeps me out, and I don't really want games to ever look like real life. I love it when it has its own art style, even when it's going to even when it is realistic. I still like to know that it's an animation, like Uncharted. It looks really good, but it isn't so realistic that it's like, oh god, it's like it's
creepy.
too realistic. Like The
Yeah.
Last of Us as well as another great example where it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but the characters never look uncanny valley to me. They just perfect, nailed it.
Yeah.
But this is like getting in that territory where it's like, oh man, it's very close to what I of someone that I just walked past on the street. I don't know how I feel about that. But that still the technology fantastic, amazing that we're making those strides. It's just I agree. I don't want everything to look like this. But yeah. Moving on to the next story, the Callisto Protocol teams up with Walking Dead creators Skybound Entertainment. Striking Distance Studios is teaming up with Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman and his company Skybound Entertainment to expand the reach of the upcoming survival horror game, The Callisto Project. So, without reading too much more into the article, it's basically really cool that they teamed up with this company and to bring the Callisto Project to more mediums besides video games. So we could see some Callisto Project comics or books or TV shows. So I thought that was really cool. You actually brought that to my attention. I didn't have it in the story until you showed it to me. So I thought this was really cool. Of course, Daniel, I know you were very excited when we watched the Game Awards and
Yes.
this came up. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this would be super cool, and this is a really good fit, obviously, with Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead fame. That's a really good fit in terms of transmedia. So you have TV shows, movies, like there's so many options, comics, obviously, because Walking Dead started as a comic. So yeah, I would be down for this. Obviously, we still have to see like what Callisto Protocol ends up being. Like it's got to be a good game too at some point. So, but this is very cool. Maybe they'll have stuff before the game is even out to like build up the world to kind of lead us into that initial time that we see it. I think it could be very interesting to see what they do with this, especially in terms of like TV and movie kind of stuff, because to be honest, I don't read a whole heck of a lot of comics or anything like that. So I don't know that I would dive in too much into that, but I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. It's always cool to see games branch out to different mediums, especially when they're good, because they have done that in the past, but sometimes they're just really, really trash and should never do that. But I have some faith in this for sure, especially it being a horror genre. It's nothing that those other mediums aren't familiar with, that they can't adapt easily, especially as you said with Robert Kirkman, great fit to partner with. So I'm super excited for it as well. Moving on to the next story. This is coming from Bloomberg and Jason Schreier. Electronic Arts is going to decide the fate of Anthem this week, according to some reports. So Electronic Arts Inc. will hold a meeting this week to determine whether it will continue trying to create a new version of the failed online Anthem game, the failed online game Anthem, according to three people familiar with the matter. So Anthem obviously launched in February 2019 to poor reviews. In the following months, Bioware put together a small team to overhaul the game. Executive producer Christian Daly wrote 3 blog posts last year outlining some of the big changes planned. But in December, Daly left Anthem and as a part of Bioware's management shakeup, which left the project's fate in question. So apparently later this week, EA executives are going to review the latest version of Anthem next and decide whether to expand the team or abandon the project entirely. So yeah, Jason reported on this earlier this week, I believe on Monday or February 8th. Yeah, Monday. So yeah, when I saw this news, I was kind of, I don't know how I felt. I wasn't shocked because that's kind of how I thought things were going behind the scenes. Like, oh, they're going to pull the plug any second now, or we're about to see something and it's not going to be that great.
Yeah.
But yeah, but just seeing it in written form and that they really are thinking about doing something with it,
Yeah.
whether it be shutting it down or bringing it out, it's interesting. It's finally we're going to hear something about it, whether it be good news or bad news, we don't know yet. But Jenny, what do you think Anthem stands in second chance? What do you think about this story?
Man, I don't know. I go back and forth on this. I think that Anthem, I think we talked about this a week or two ago or something like that, where I feel like Anthem's in a weird position that no matter what they do at this point, I'm not sure that they can recover a big player base in order to make it successful. And I think that's EA's main question right now. Like, is this worth us putting all of this money and development resources and all of this into something that may not even, get a decent population out of it, even if it is really good? I think that is definitely a major concern. I think it's going to happen? I don't know. Obviously, this is not the same team that's making Mass Effect and Dragon Age. This is the, I believe, Austin team that they assigned to Anthem. It was originally Edmonton that was making Anthem, but then they pushed it off to the Austin team or San Antonio, something like that. Whatever the team is in Austin, Texas. But I think they pushed it on them so that Edmonton could focus on Mass Effect, and then the other team could focus on Dragon Age. So I don't know how important it is for EA to continue it, as sad as that is, and how excited people were for this game, including you. I think you were pretty excited for it.
Definitely, especially being like a Destiny person and looter shooters. I love them. So yeah, I was definitely excited for this game. Was very disappointed when it came out, but the core gameplay of it I found was fun, but the content was just like there was none of it, and there was a lot of UI stuff that I didn't like as well. Just like the quality of life wasn't quite where I expected it to be. But yeah, I'm totally with you where I don't think EA sees the worth in this and keeping it going. Even if they do decide to go through with it, again, like you were saying, who's to say who's going to jump back on this? I feel like so many people have traded in their copies of Anthem, and people who still are holding on to Anthem may not even decide to come back unless it's something crazy, which I doubt. But yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. My assumption is that it's over for Anthem. And in 3 years, Jason is going to do another report about what Anthem was going to be, and then we're going to get mad at EA for shutting it down. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking that it may be the end, and hopefully we'll find out soon. We have 2 more days in the work week, but I guess we have until Sunday to technically find out what the end result will be.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next story. CD Projekt Red got hacked? ? This is coming from CD Projekt Red's Twitter account, and they write, "Yesterday we discovered that we have become victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Red Capital Group, and left a ransom note." So this person or entity or peoples decided to hack into CD Projekt Red. I'm guessing before February 9th, which is when they posted this, and they left a little note, and this is what they said. "Hello, CD Projekt Red," preceded and followed by an obscene amount of exclamation points. "You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source codes of your performance server, for CD Projekt or for Cyberpunk 2077, I always mix them up. When I see CD Projekt Red, I'm about to say Cyberpunk. When I see Cyberpunk 2077, I'm about to say CD Projekt Red. I don't know why. That's just how my brain works, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, from your performance server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, human resources, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the SHITTER even more, and people will see how your SHITTY, your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us. And obviously, CD Projekt Red mentioned that they do not negotiate with hackers, so we don't know what the outcome of the situation was, but obviously CD Projekt Red still can't catch a break.
Yeah.
What did you think about this whole shenanigans?
Yeah, it sucks. It's something that's it actually hits pretty close to home because it's something that me and my coworkers like worry about all the time because I work in IT, and it's something you have to be, concerned about working in that field is people trying to penetrate your network in order to, get data from you or compromise your data in order to make you pay a ransom for the data. It's very scary stuff. So it's definitely, I hate to see stuff like this because it just, it's not good. And obviously they're going to be fine because they have backups and stuff that they can pull from and they'll be able to clean that up. But it's just, it's so crappy. I don't know. If you ever are out there thinking about hacking into a company, don't do it. Like,
Don't do it.
there's just there's no benefit to that. You're leaking like HR documents out there as well. Like, you have people's personal information on there. You have people's, livelihoods on there. Like, don't do that. It's just
you're never hurting the person that you think you're trying to get at. You're always getting the middle person, the person that's stuck in the middle, which is not fair to anyone, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get back at a company, but you're hurting the people that work for the company is not going to get anybody anywhere. So yeah, totally agree. Don't hack companies, please.
Yes.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to add to that one?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah. I still can't believe Cyberpunk 2077 isn't back on the PSN store though. Like, I was looking into that, like, is that back up yet? Like, no, not yet. I understand it's only been 3 months, but still.
They had their 2 updates, and they're not on there. That is interesting.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll catch a break soon and everything will be okay for them.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to look very, very dire over there now.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next story from GameIndustry.biz, PS5's DualSense controller also faces drift issues. This is coming from, as I said, GameIndustry.biz, Marie Delisandri. Oh, there we go. I think I nailed it.
Nice.
PlayStation 5's controller, the DualSense, is allegedly suffering from the same drift issues that have been widely reported in the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con.
Oh.
Players reported stick drift issues online as early as 10 days after their purchase of Sony's console, Kotaku reported. The issue sees DualSense controller registering movement even when it's not being used, which can be seen in this video. No, you can't see it again, I'm sorry. But there's a video of a Destiny player on Reddit. The character, he's holding up the controller, I'm assuming, and the character is moving on its own, and he's obviously not moving the character. So that is definitely sounding like Joy-Con drift for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why Sony decided to pick up that that feature, because it's not something that we wanted.
No.
But yeah, it's something that is plaguing the PS4 as well, and that sucks with all the intricate haptic feedbacks that's going on inside of the controller. That there's seems to be a problem with some inner workings there, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing too. Like stick drift, eventually over time, controllers will get stick drift. You know, a year from now, 2 years from now, you might have an old controller that it will drift because obviously wear and tear. But yes, this soon after launch, not a good sign. I didn't even know about this until you had it in the stories. I didn't see it or anything. And
sorry, go ahead.
no, oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, like, I haven't experienced this myself personally yet. I obviously don't play my PS5 as much as I play my Series X, so I don't have as many hours. I've only played Miles Morales and Astro's Playroom. So yeah, maybe I'm just not playing enough to actually see that happen. But hopefully this isn't super widespread like the Joy-Cons. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It might not be like a huge issue as much as the Joy-Cons are. Maybe it's just a couple of people who have reported it.
Yeah.
And hopefully that is the case. But yeah, it does suck that it's happening so soon after people getting hands on the system.
And those Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say hopefully Sony can rectify it.
And those controllers are not cheap. Those controllers are $70 now. Sony's is so like that's a lot of money to drop for it to 4 months later it's having stick drift issues. That's not good.
Yeah, and same with the Joy-Cons. I'm trying to search it up here how much they cost. Yeah, for two of them it costs $100 in Canada. So I'm like, wow. When those things start breaking. You start breaking. You start breaking down and crying, and it's not pretty. Yeah. But I obviously had some drift issues with my Switch as well. So hopefully, when I get my PS4, those days will be not my PS4, my PS5. Those days will be behind me, and there'll be no drift issues. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Moving on to the next story, Ubisoft moving away from reliance on AAA releases. This is coming from IGN. Rebecca Valentine, who is a new hire over there, she moved over from GameIndustry.biz, which is super cool. Ubisoft doesn't want to be as reliant on AAA game releases as it has in the past, and will instead look more closely at free-to-play games and its back catalog to make money. In an earnings call today, which was February 9th, the company's Q3 financial results, the publisher said that its plans for fiscal 2022 include 3 AAA game releases, but that in the future, Ubisoft didn't want AAA games to be a focus of its business model. And that's a interesting takeaway that they're looking more towards the free-to-play market and their backlog of games. I'm not sure what backlog of games means, whether it be
remaster or
I guess, yeah. I'm not sure, but this I want to couple with the Ubisoft is planning to release more Division content later this year and the year after, and it's coming from the same studio that's working on the Star Wars game, but
and the whatchamacallit game. Oh shoot, the Avatar game, right?
Right, yeah.
Like we haven't heard about that.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot insists that they are large enough to be working on all of these games. And this is what he says: "We are happy to be partnering with Lucasfilm Games. The project will be headed by our massive studio, who will make the most of their cutting-edge technology, including the Snowdrop engine, to deliver a groundbreaking Star Wars adventure. We're very proud of the collaboration. The massive studio is a large studio. It's massive. And they are also collaborating with lots of studios all over the world. You're going to see more Division in this year and the year after." So yeah, that's fantastic. They are working on more Division 2 stuff, which I did not see coming. I didn't think that they would continue to support it, which great. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are excited for more Division stuff. But yeah, what do you think about them going to free-to-play games? Like Hyper Escape was one of their most recent stuff, and I don't think that's due for them right now.
Yeah, no. Hyperscape, I think they're kind of pulling an Anthem with Hyperscape. They're like redoing a bunch of stuff with it from what I've heard. Because I think it was just like an early preview or beta or whatever, and then now it's not even available anymore until it comes out, I guess. But yeah, it's very interesting that they're talking about free to play and back catalog only, or not only, but focusing on that, Because like you said, what does that mean for their back catalog stuff? Like, are you just going to release a remaster or a port of your old games? Or does this mean more like Resident Evil 2 style games where you have the upgraded textures, upgraded everything, essentially a game built from the ground up as a remaster or a remake, not a remaster? And I think that would be very interesting if they start grabbing stuff that people want, like Splinter Cell, Roro. We've been asking for Splinter Cell for so many years. Give it to us, Ubisoft. Ryan McCaffrey did say that if they remade Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, he'd be super excited about that, and I would be as well. Like that, yeah, if it means that we're gonna get fantastic remakes, I'm fine with it. But I don't want to see them just say, "Oh, here we go. Here's a port of Prince of Persia, for instance," which the new Prince of Persia remake just got delayed because it literally didn't look like a remake. They called it a remake, and it didn't look like a remake. It looked like barely a remaster, if that. And I was, yeah.
But would a Resident Evil 2 remake, would that not be considered a AAA game?
Yeah.
Like the remake, yeah.
That's so confusing, right? Like, it should be. So, yeah, like, what do they mean by that?
The only thing that I can think of is like games that are already out, like The Division, like Rainbow Six and Tom Clancy's and stuff like that. Is that what they mean by backlog, where they just keep updating these things?
Yeah, that could
but
be.
I feel like that's a different word than you use ongoing games instead of
that's
that.
true.
So
I think
guess only time will tell.
I don't think Ubisoft knows what they're doing. It's like, yeah, let's just do this. We'll put this out. They won't know what we're talking about.
And we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. Oh, man. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that front. Hopefully Ubisoft knows what they're doing, because we do not.
No.
But good luck to them in whatever is next. But moving on to our next story, Nibelian is going to wrap us up here with our final stories. Nibelian on Twitter always has some really cool tidbits around the video game industry, and he's going to tell us today about the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie has been announced. It has been announced before that, but it got a nice little trailer with its logo and its release date. So it's coming April 8th, 2022. And Sonic the Hedgehog came on screen and accompanied with the Emerald Hill remake. So fantastic Sonic music was accompanying the logo. And the 2 came out, and it had obviously some Tails as Tails on the end of the 2 there. So I'm super pumped for this when it comes out. I really enjoyed the first one. It was very fun. Huge Sonic fan as well. So super excited for when this comes out next year. How about you, Daniel?
Yes. And I was in the camp of people with pitchforks when they first showed the images of the original.
God.
Oh, it looked so bad. It looked like he was wearing a costume, and it was
gross.
Yeah, it was gross. So thankfully they went back and fixed that, and I absolutely, like you, I really loved the movie. I thought it was really good. Jim Carrey, perfect for that role, really good. So yes, I'm very excited for the sequel and see Tails team up with Sonic, and then maybe at the end of this movie we'll see Knuckles show up. You know,
God, I hope so. I hope we'll see some other Sonic characters like Amy and like you said, Knuckles. That would be awesome for them to show up. And if this continues, like bring out some other characters that people don't know about. Like Tails is one of my favorite Sonic characters, but I think a lot of people know about Charmy the Bee, but not everyone knows about Charmy the Bee. He's kind of annoying, but I love him. I love Charmy the Bee. He's from Sonic Heroes, I believe. That's where I was introduced to him, but he's one of my favorite Sonic characters. So if this whole thing continues, bring out those lesser known guys. Give fans what they want.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next story, which is one big review roundup from Nibelian on Twitter once again. He rounds up some of this week's or upcoming games of February. So Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Little Nightmares 2, and Persona 5. So I'm just going to list the review stores, and then I'll ask you if you're excited for any of these or shocked by any of the numbers.
Yeah.
So Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury got some pretty great review scores. So Eurogamer says recommended. VGC gave it a 5 out of 5. Nintendo Life gave it a 10. The lowest score that it got was from IGN, a 7. A lot of people are attacking IGN, not realizing that it's two different people. But I understand. They love 3D World, but just don't threaten people. That's not nice.
No.
But moving on to the next story, Little Nightmares 2. Review scores got another recommended from Eurogamer. Windows Central gave it a 5 out of 5. Game Informer gave it a 9.3. The lowest score that it got was a 4 out of 5. So people really like this game.
Nice.
Moving on to Persona 5 Strikers, which is something that I'm super excited for. 5 out of 5 from the Gamer. Windows Central gave it a 5 out of 5. IGN gave it an 8. The lowest score that it got was from PC Gamer, 63. So a lot of people liked it. PC Gamer, obviously on the lower end of the spectrum, but obviously very popular. What do you think about these numbers, and are you excited for any of these 3 games listed? Are you planning to play any of them?
Yeah, I've heard good things about Little Nightmares, the first one, so I guess I would need to find out if I need to play the first one before playing 2. In that regard, but my back catalog is ridiculous because I don't finish new games anymore. Apparently, I've done terrible with that lately. But yeah, and Bowser's Fury, I'm very excited for Super Mario 3D World because I really enjoyed it on Wii U, and obviously it was a very, it was trapped on the Wii U. So it's great that it's actually coming to a console that people can actually play it now, and the new Bowser stuff looks really cool. Even if it's not, it's not super substantial, it's still something cool additional to it. And it actually comes out on my birthday on Friday, so
nice.
I might treat
Happy
myself.
Early birthday.
Yeah. Nice. So, yeah, we're not going to disclose the age here. So.
But yeah, I'm not surprised by the scores. I am shocked by PC Gamer's 63 of Persona 5 Strikers, but I understand different people, different tastes. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for 3D World. Echo everything that you said. I loved it on the Wii U. Excited to play it again on the Switch. As again, not being trapped on the Wii U anymore. Wider audience will get to play. There's a lot of people who haven't played it. I was shocked by the amount of people that hadn't played that fantastic game yet. But again, not super shocked because not a lot of people had a Wii U. But Persona 5 Strikers is something that I'm super excited for. Love Persona 5. Recently beat it actually finally after 4 years. It's such a long game, but I would definitely took some time off from it. But it's so fantastic. Love the gameplay, so I'm excited to see more of it. And Little Nightmares, I'm still trying to beat the first one. I don't think you have to play the first one to play number 2. That's what I've heard. But there's definitely some callbacks to the first one that fans will appreciate, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think you have to beat the first one to play the second one.
Nice.
Not sure.
But
yeah, that's
just dive in and see what happens.
Yeah, could definitely. It's definitely it's like Inside, where you don't really know what's going on until deeper into it. So you may not even get answers. I don't even know. I haven't finished the first one, but right now I am like, what is going on? But it's still super fun and creepy.
Yeah.
But still, not a lot of answers have come to fruition yet. So which is cool. I like that in horror anyway, where you don't really know what's going on. But anyways, moving on to the games that we are playing. Right now I am playing Destiny. Shocking no one.
Wow, that's a
but the new season came out, so that's why I'm playing Destiny. The season of The Chosen has released, so there's some new strikes. Well, 2 old strikes have returned, and a new strike on Nessus is coming later this month. Obviously, there's a new seasonal activity called Battlegrounds, which is lots of fun. I'm enjoying it so far. We'll see how I feel about it in a couple of weeks, but I'm really enjoying it. It's already better than the previous season activity, Wrathborn Hunts, in the past season, so already thumbs up there. But yeah, besides that, they're definitely doing their trickle-down effect where they don't release everything right away, which is a smart move, but obviously it leaves hardcore players like myself with less to do right away, but still more to come in the future. So it's a win-lose sort of situation, but I'm enjoying my time with Destiny once again.
Nice.
And that's really it. I'm trying to slowly beat Little Nightmares before it comes out.
Yeah.
But I'm occupied by Destiny as usual.
So, Roro, I'm a disappointment to this podcast because I have played nothing new except for Master Chief Collection. So, yeah, I need to get through my backlog. I have Assassin's Creed that I love, but I haven't gotten back to it, and it's just, I just need
understand.
to. I need to. It's
I
frustrating.
It's a busy life.
Yeah. So maybe I'll get back to that. And I want to go back to Hitman. I beat Hitman, but I want to go back and do some more runs of the missions to kind of do them differently because I think it would be fun to do that. Lana Vines does say in the chat, happy early birthday, and he is ... Don't you dare reveal this age, or I will find you, Lana Vines. But it's nice to have some appreciation from work from Lana Vines. Thank you.
Nice. But yeah, so that wraps up the games that we are playing, or lack of games that we are playing. We're sticking to what we know here right now, with what we're playing, which is totally fine. But yeah, moving on to the topic of the show. E3. E3 is happening. ESA is committed to bringing E3 to us this year, and the goat, I guess, of this podcast, Abellion, brings us another story from VGS. He sums it up pretty well here on Twitter. ESA is planning digital E3 for 2021. The ESA's intention is to hold multiple 2-hour keynote sessions from games partners and awards show. Sorry, let me start that over. The ESA's intention is to hold multiple 2-hour keynote sessions from game partners, an award show, a June 14th preview night, and other smaller streams from game publishers, influencers, and media partners. Some details from the article. Plans have yet to be approved by ESA members. Jeff Keighley will not be involved again. He's going to do Summer Games Fest once again this year. Pretty cool. No details on how many have signed up yet. Apparently, a 6-figure sum is required to join the program.
My God.
Holy moly. Not that the companies don't have it, but holy moly.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Yeah. So what do you think about this news with E3 going digital? How do you see this going?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what they're going to present because the key thing is going to be what companies are going to show up to this because you already had, even before COVID, you already had EA having their own event away from E3. They kind of marketed it with E3 a little bit, happening the same weekend, but it doesn't happen at E3. It doesn't happen at the convention center. It's nowhere near there. You had Sony already pull out of E3 the last few years. And you have Microsoft, who just came off of doing a July event last year that went pretty well and people were pretty happy with. So where does this leave the big publishers and the big, developers in terms of when they want to present their stuff? I think they're starting to learn, like, we can do this throughout the year and get more coverage because we're not, we don't have 20 games trying to get the same coverage at the same time. You kind of spread it out throughout the year and you all get your own, event, so to speak. So I think that's where E3 is going to struggle. I don't know that, but maybe it's not going to be the same thing that we've always been excited for and known was coming every year, because I don't know that those big publishers and big game developers are going to show up for the ESA for an E3 event. I just don't know if it's going to happen anymore. And yeah, it sucks because E3 is such a big marketing thing. And I'll give you an example, Roro. On my personal YouTube account, I always do my YouTube predictions every year for E3. And last year, with it being the first year that we didn't have E3, I just did general 2020 predictions. It was not even close to the same viewership that I got. Every year, it was increasing a lot. The last year they had one, 2019. My Microsoft predictions video had 1,700 views or something like that, which I was super excited about that. And then 2020, I think I had maybe a couple hundred, and I was like, that's just so It's just
Yeah.
E3 is such a big name that it carries a lot of weight. So then when you take that away, it does kind of lose its value, I guess. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think, it's going to be changed.
Yeah, I am totally with you where E3 carries so much weight in the industry where when you see that fans automatically get excited, but at the same time these like you were saying, these big publishers don't have to do this anymore with COVID-19 happening for the past year. They had to do their own thing whether they wanted to or not. PlayStation was already doing their own thing. Xbox had started to do their own thing as well, but other publishers had to start doing their own directs and showcases and kind of step away from E3 because it didn't happen. And now that everybody's kind of figured out how to do that and saw that it was successful for them, why pay that six-figure price tag to do it all at the same time, which doesn't help? Yeah, like spreading it out, like you were saying, is better for everyone. Like if Ubisoft's have a certain day, like I understand they did have their own separate time slots, but imagine when they're months apart or weeks apart, how they get like a designated week to talk about that one thing instead of everybody talking about the one big thing that happened at E3. When there's so many things going on, this way everybody gets their own time to shine in the spotlight. And Nintendo has never gone, well, they have gone to E3, but it's been a while even before all of this happened, and we haven't gotten a Nintendo Direct, a regular Nintendo Direct from them in over a year. Like September 4th, 2019, I believe, was the last time we got a traditional Nintendo Direct. Ever since then, they've been like smaller directs or focus directs, like Pokemon Directs, Animal Crossing Directs, stuff like that. And they're obviously doing just fine with the Switch is doing crazy numbers. Animal Crossing is killing it. So these companies really don't need to do what they're used to doing with their Nintendo Directs, or PlayStation now has their State of Plays, which I'm sure they'll continue. But there's a lot of different ways that they can get audience attention in this now digital age. And I totally agree. I don't know who's going to sign up for this, especially when they can do it themselves for free. And in fact, probably get money by asking other people to be on smaller titles and other publishers to join their thing. Absolutely. So I don't know who's going to sign up for this. And again, I agree with you. This is a total bummer, because E3 is such a fun. It was such a fun time, and to see it slowly die down is super disappointing. Do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
And it almost feels like they're taking the reverse approach they should be doing. Like they're charging the six figures or whatever. They should be like saying like, "Hey, indie developers, come to E3 and like show us what you have. Like we'll show the most awesome indie stuff and get you promoted where otherwise you wouldn't have as much attention." Like I feel like that would be a perfect spot for them to pull in those indies because like we're saying, like I don't know that they're going to get those big publishers because they're just not going to care. They're not going to be like, "Hey, we need that." The only saving grace about this is that it's digital. They might still get Microsoft just because it's digital, and I know Phil Spencer has traditionally been very traditional in terms of like his support of E3 and the ESA. So it's still possible that we get Microsoft's presence at E3 to fill that slot instead of their like July event that they had last year. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have confidence in what's going to happen.
And as much as I love indies, I love them getting their spotlight and stuff like that. I love what Nintendo does with their indie worlds and all of that jazz. And I believe that indies should get more of a spotlight for sure. Yeah. But if E3 was just a lot of indies and a couple of Ubisoft announcements or whatever, that would be even more of a nail in its coffin where like I would love it. But I don't think the general gaming audience who tunes in for E3, oh my God, this is where all the hype news comes out, and then they quote unquote see, oh, what is this pixel game? Like this is ridiculous. What is all this? What is all this indie garbage? Even though I don't think a general E3 gamer watching it will be as impressed as I would, and I feel like that would just even more into the ground for E3. Somebody like Microsoft, like you're saying, needs to join this year, or else this is going to be like for naught. I think one of those big three people needs to be there, or a Ubisoft or a Bethesda, or somebody like that with a big name has to show up to E3 for it to make sense, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Do you think this is after this year? Do you think E3 is ever going to be in person again? Do you think it'll survive this year?
And do I think it's going to be in person again? Maybe. The only reason why I say maybe is because some events, like for instance PAX, really depends on that fan interaction. So like you have PAX West and PAX East, and they drive home that fan interaction. It's not necessarily that we get big news out of PAX or anything like that. There's often like smaller stuff and smaller announcements in there, but it's mainly like a community event for people to go and see the panels and see all the costumes and see the people and see the developer and just seeing all the different things that are so great about the industry. I think if E3 takes that approach, they may go back to an in-person thing. But if they try to go back to in-person and go back to like what they were before without the support of all the big publishers, I think it will fail miserably. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see, if you don't have that backing of those big publishers with these big games, I don't see like a lot of people being very excited for it. So
yeah, I totally agree. That's kind of it for the topic that I had in question. I just hope that I'm going to be excited for E3 regardless.
Yeah,
it's more video game announcements, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be tuning in no matter what. It's just a bummer to see it slowly becoming less and less a shell of its former self, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's hoping that it's a huge success and E3 comes back swinging, and we'll see it in person next year. And PlayStation comes back, and Nintendo comes back, Microsoft comes back, everybody comes back, and none of this was for naught. Hopefully, and maybe they lower the price tag a little bit. Get some indies in there. That'd be nice. But that's really all I have to say for the ESA. Anything that you wanted to add to that?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
All right. Well, moving on to just our last little segment, what we've been working on. Daniel, have you been working on anything new this week?
No. Just last week, I dropped episode 2 of Daniel Reacts. So I did it on the Halo Infinite January update. So if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. It's XDTM3000X on YouTube. So there we go.
All right. And for me, I released the first episode of Thank You Games podcast, and we talked about reveal trailers. Ooh. So that was lots of fun. I talked to The Only Rush. You could find him on Twitter at The Only Rush. But yeah, if you want to find the podcast, just type in no, don't type that in. Type in RAUWRO, Roro. Type that in on YouTube, and you will find my channel. Perfect. And you can watch the podcast there.
And you've been quite busy the last week, Roro. You've been on a ton of shows I've been seeing.
Yes, I posted the podcast video on Twitter, and a lot of people wanted to talk about video games. Apparently, I was not expecting people to want to be on, that many at least.
Yeah. And
some other people, like Steve Bowling, apparently saw it from previously of Game Explain, now of Good Vibes Gaming. And he saw it and he invited me to be on the show. I don't know why. I was more than happy to be on, obviously. But yeah, that was super fun. So I got to talk to Ash and Derek. So all three of them worked at Game Explain at one point, and now are starting their own thing. So that was super fun. But yeah, that was, and another channel called Save Data invited me onto one of their shows called Around the Monitor, which was really fun, where basically you talk about the news during the week, but it's like a game show sort of. So you have to be funny or informative to get points. And by the end of the 2 rounds, whoever has the most points gets to talk about whatever they want for for a minute, and I actually won, surprisingly. And I got to talk about Animal Crossing for a little bit.
Nice.
So that was what I did at Save Data. That was about it.
That's a super interesting idea. I
It
like
is.
that. That's cool.
It's
And
really-
I also like how you set the other guys straight about Perfect Dark, because I did listen to that segment. I was like, I wonder how they took this, because I saw that was one of the topics. So I scrubbed through it. 'Cause I didn't listen to the whole thing. I apologize.
That's okay.
But I scrubbed through. I was like, I want to see what they say about this. And then you were like, well, actually, this is what I'm like. Yes, bro, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who passed away. Yeah, I was surprised they didn't realize, but yeah, definitely. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Oh my goodness, what have I done? I almost erased everything, including the outro. So never mind, it's back. Don't worry.
Oh no.
I almost deleted the outro here, but we're all good. Thank you everyone for joining us both live on Twitch and on YouTube, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you for everyone for watching. You can catch us here on YouTube every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And until next time, later will be greater.
Much love.